What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talking with the PDs, episode 162, all softball playoff regionals, super regionals, and college World Series talk today. We got two guests on from the past softball episode. We got the podcast dad next to me, and we got from Sacramento, Aunt Tammy, along with us for this one.
Sticking with my ASU cap, though. I see you guys are don't have yours on today, but that's okay.
Yeah, they didn't make it out of the regionals.
That's all right.
So if you guys have been around, we had episode 161, which we talked about all the regionals, gave our super picks or our picks and our super regional picks.
Did I win any money for getting the best record on the first one?
No, but we'll mention that. We'll mention your regional picks.
Just checking.
All right.
I thought there was a cash incentive.
No cash incentive. We don't make money off of this. So we make money.
Not yet.
Yeah. Did pretty well for the most part for you two. Me, on the other hand, I struggled a little bit. Dad actually got 13-3 with the regional picks. He went 6-2 in his super regional picks as well. For Aunt Tammy, you went 12-4, not too bad, but 4-4 in your regional picks. Me, on the other hand, I went 9-7, just about 500. Also, though, 4-4 with my super regional picks. So not too bad. I think experts pretty close compared to some of the articles I was reading. I think a lot of people did not have Texas A&M not making it out of their region. So it's just a given loss. And I just thought
next year we're going to Vegas. 13-3. Come on.
13-3, really good. And one of those losses I think everybody had. So if you take away that, really only 2 losses for you, Dad. So really, honestly, great job there. But yeah, great job for you too, Aunt Tammy. Really good research on the last episode. Really respectable numbers there.
Nice.
So on today's episode, we're going to talk about the College World Series because that starts on Thursday. All 4 game ones of the World Series. The loser bracket games start on Friday, the winners bracket games on Saturday, and the championship game will start on Wednesday. It could end on Friday. So it'll be a 3-game set if necessary for that. The games that we have, though, game 1 will be number 6, Texas versus number 3, Florida. Number 7, Tennessee versus number 2, Oklahoma. That is one side of the bracket. The other side will be Ole Miss versus number 12, Texas Tech, and number 16, Oregon versus number 9, UCLA. Before we get into any of that, Dad, anything that surprises you about these 8 teams here?
Well, the one that comes to mind is Ole Miss. This is the first time in the College World Series at all. The first time making it that far. They kind of came out left field there, and they're the I think the remaining non-seeded team. So
yeah, that is
that was the surprise of the super regionals for me.
What about you, Aunt Tammy?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. They're not ranked at all, so that's pretty impressive. And then in looking at how they got there, it's just pretty awesome to see, especially against Arkansas. So yeah, it's just
Arkansas choked the last 2 years.
Yeah, but they got pretty farther than some of my other picks. So but yeah, I just yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. And when we get to that pick, I'm not sure. It might be, an Ole Miss pick. We'll see when I get there.
Remember, this is double elimination. So if you lose game 1, it is not over for any of these teams. So any team can make a run, which we actually saw a lot of stuff in the super regionals where teams lost the game 1, came back and won game 2, which is why I think even though Tennessee's a very good team, I think they're the surprise there because I thought Nebraska was definitely going to have a chokehold on that series after game 1. Jordy Ball looked great. Pickens did not look all that great in that first game, which was very shaky for your ride or die team, which was your pick last episode. So I thought Nebraska was definitely going to upset that, but relentless from the Volunteers, they were able to get past that. So I think even though Ole Miss, they're unranked there, I think that was the more surprise in my eyes than Ole Miss getting in. But regardless, let's move on into game 1. It will be Texas versus Florida. How did these two teams get here? Well, Florida had to get out of their region. They did so. They beat Mercer, getting their 16th super appearance there. But they had to face Georgia, who made their 4th super regional in 5 years, which was surprising that was your pick. You picked it for Keenan and Georgia, and it ended up coming true for the sake. So that was a really good matchup between these two. Florida had to play 3 games, and it was very close all 3 games as well. Florida beating Georgia, though, getting their 13th appearance in the World Series. For Texas, they had to face Clemson. Really good matchup between these two. I think this was the games we watched the most of the weekend, and a lot of back and forth, and I think 2 extra inning games as well between those 2 squads. That one also went to 3 games. Texas beating Clemson there for that. So Texas versus Florida, number 6 versus number 3. Who's your official pick for game 1 there, Dad?
Well, like you mentioned earlier, I do want to give a shout out to Georgia. They even took the first game, and then lost the next 2. So they made a good run on it. So, Texas and Florida, one of the most, I guess, I was impressed with the third baseman from Texas.
Mia Scott.
Mia Scott. She had an excellent super regional. The games I watched, she was solid over there at third base, and I think she hit well. So I was surprised, not surprised, but just I was impressed by her play for the weekend. Florida, like I said, they kind of snuck in at the end there, right? So my pick for the regional is going to be Texas.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, Tammy.
Yep. I also have Texas selected. I think their pitching staff is on point. So I think I'm going to go with Texas on this one as well.
Yeah, their pitcher was at ASU as a freshman, one of them.
Yeah, Morgan, who closed out that game against Clemson. She pitched great. I mean, Clemson really did have nothing in those last couple of innings there for that. And it was a really close game too. So that was good pitching by her. But for me, I got Florida. I think Florida's going to win this one. I liked how they played against Georgia, and I liked how Georgia really kind of battled all 3 games. I mean, they got a close win, a 2-1 win for the Dogs, but a 6-1 win and a 5-2 win for the Gators. It was close regardless of the scoreline being 3 and 4 point difference. But I think Florida, 13th appearance in the World Series, I think a little bit more experience there is going to help out this Gator team. I know Texas has a lot of recency bias with the success they have had in the last couple of years. This is their 8th appearance in the World Series. I'm going to get Florida with a close game, though.
It's their second time in 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I think this could be the best of the game ones for any of the 4 matchups. But I'm gonna edge out with Florida. I think they're just gonna get a little bit more there. So that's my official pick. But I guess I'll be on the lone island over here by myself. Mm-hmm. All right, next up, we got number 7, Tennessee versus number 2, Oklahoma. The reigning champs are back in it again. How did they get here? They had to face Cal in their regional finals, smoked them, have not lost a game at all. They swept Alabama too in the Supers 3-0 and 13-2. So they have not lost a game since the postseason has started. For the other side, Tennessee, your ride or die team, they had to face the Baton Rouge winner, which was Nebraska. And again, as I said at the top, I think this was the best of the super regional matchups. Tennessee, Nebraska, great names along the lineups there. Tennessee, though, did edge them out. They lost game 1, 5-2, but won 3-2 and 1-0. Really good pitchers duel between Ball and Pickens. Pickens just getting the edge there, earning their 2nd appearance in the World Series in the last 3 years. So, Dad, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Do you see game 1 going your way for Tennessee?
Well, Oklahoma's they're the 4-time reigning champs.
Yeah, 4 times.
4 times. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like I said before, they're not the same team they had been the last 4 years, and they lost a lot of the core that they had back then. And in order to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And I think that's exactly what Tennessee is going to do. I'm sticking up on ride or die. So Tennessee, Pickens on the mound. I have them the first game.
All right. And Tammy, what you got?
Yep. I tell you everything that I looked at, everyone's picking Oklahoma for this one, but I'm going to go with Tennessee. As I don't know about that being my ride or die, but at the end, I think we'll get there. I think they're going to be there in the end. So I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one. That's my official pick.
All right, yeah. For me, I just want to shout out real quick that Nebraska bracket and Baton Rouge was phenomenal when it wasn't LSU playing. Nebraska looked great, but Southeastern Louisiana took two games from LSU in their home stadium. I think one game technically they were the home team, but it's their home stadium. It's the Tigers' home stadium. That was great wins for them. So that was very impressive there. So I think Tennessee has prepared themselves a lot better when it comes to competition wise than Oklahoma has. Oklahoma to me has had a cakewalk. Their region was not very competitive. Cal did not look good at all. Yeah, they made it to the finals, but they didn't really put up any fight there against the Sooners. And then you look at how Alabama played up against Oklahoma 3-0 and 13-2. And this is not close games. I guess 3-0 you could say is close, but when Alabama scores 2 runs in 2 games, there's not a recipe for success. So give me Tennessee as well. I think Tennessee has prepared themselves better. I like the offense there. I really like the pitching from Pickens the last couple of games. She's really shut down that offense for Nebraska, and I think that's going to propel them into a game 1 win over the Sooners.
We're all picking Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the top side of the bracket. So there will be no intermingling between the teams. So those 4 teams will have to go up against each other to make it to the finals. So let's head to the other side of the bracket where we have Ole Miss versus number 12, Texas Tech. Texas Tech was actually the first team to punch their ticket into the College World Series because they started their series on Thursday. But how did Ole Miss get here? They beat Arizona in Arizona in 3 games, getting their 3rd appearance in the Super Regionals, and then beat Arkansas in 3 games, got game 1 and then got game 3 for their first World Series appearance. For Texas Tech, they've been a lot easier road for them. They beat Mississippi State for their first appearance into the Super Regionals and then swept Florida State, a team that's technically higher than them, 3-0 and 2-1 for their first College World Series appearance there. So, Dad, who do you got? Both newcomers pretty much in this stage. Do you see an upset again from Ole Miss?
No, I don't. Like we talked about in the last episode, Texas Tech has probably the best pitcher
Yeah,
in the College World Series right now. So I think they're gonna be behind her arm and they're gonna ride that into a victory this first round here.
what you got, Aunt Tammy?
Yeah, I we talked about Kennedy in the beginning. I just think she's all around. She's in the top 10 nationally. I just think she's gonna really show it this round, and I think I'm gonna go with Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech has looked great. Nyjah Cannery didn't even play all the games when it came to pitching wise, and they still were winning those games. So just the depth when it comes to the pitching staff there, even though they're really not going to use anybody else besides Kennedy for the rest of the season. I got Texas Tech too. I think Ole Miss is a great storyline. I think Texas Tech is just a better storyline. Both first time comers in this. I think the Red Raiders have just a little bit more there, especially when it comes to the pitching side there. So I got the Red Raiders, and that's a clean sweep for all of us, which gives us to our last game, game 4, which is number 16, Oregon versus number 9, UCLA. UCLA hosted their regional. They got out of that one and then had to beat South Carolina. In South Carolina, they got it in 3 games, winning game 2 and game 3 for their 33rd College World Series appearance. For Oregon on the other side, Oregon has been very light when it comes to the opponents. Yes, they lost 1 game to Stanford, but Oregon's offense got them out of that region. Plus, they swept Liberty 3-2 and 13-1 against Liberty for their first appearance since 2018. So, Dad, Pac-12 matchup, classic Pac-12 matchup. Do you see UCLA or Oregon winning this one?
It is a good Pac-12 matchup, and this was actually the toughest for me to pick between the two. I watched a lot of the Oregon play. I've seen a lot of them play. Just being on the West Coast, the time sort of match up with us. Being able to watch them on TV. So I've seen a lot of them. They have a really good. I think the freshman, the first baseman, what's her name? Riley McCoy. She got knocked in the face in the regional. She came back I think she came back for the supers. So, she's freshman of the year. So, she's solid on first base. Then they still have um and they made a lot of comebacks throughout the year, they fought back. UCLA, it looked good for them. They traveled, won on the road,
Yeah,
Oregon hasn't had to do that
it's true.
right now. So it's tough. I'm man, I want to say UCLA just because they're the local team, I like them. But I think I'm gonna go with Oregon. I watched a lot of them, kind of comfortable with with how they play and their team in general. So I'm gonna go with Oregon.
All right. And Tammy, what you got?
I'm going with UCLA on this one.
Oh, for a minute, this is their 33rd appearance.
Yeah,
World Series.
that's impressive.
Leads, it's the number one overall.
That is very impressive.
So Oregon hasn't been there since 2018. Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad, but
yeah,
I mean 33rd. So it's impressive from UCLA.
Yeah. So for me, really hard matchup. I think both teams have a chance to win this first game over each other. They've played against each other. I'm not sure what their record is. I'll pop it up on the screen of their record between each other this year. I don't think that really matters. I think you have to ride the hot hand now in the postseason. I think most postseasons just ride the hot hand. And right now, I think UCLA is just a better hot hand. They went on the road, as you mentioned, won 2 games in a row, facing elimination. So this team has been on the back heels all season long. When it came to, they lost even a game in the regional. So I figure UCLA gets the edge here over Oregon. And I think it's going to be because I think UCLA has more of the killer instinct over Oregon. Oregon has had to play comeback pretty much his whole postseason, and it's been working. But how much longer is that going to keep working? I don't really think it's going to last that much longer. It could work for this, but I do not see this being a team that goodness gracious, that can continue to keep making comebacks and comebacks, especially this late in the season with this many good teams left. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to take UCLA in this one. I'm going with the history, and I'm going with the hot hand here of the Bruins. So that's my pick.
All right.
So that'll actually wrap it up for our picks of the games. We're not going to go into further depth because it's just too much of a bracket to kind of talk about with losers bracket, winners bracket already going up there. But if you guys have listened closely, I mean, we've been mentioning ride or dies, and last episode, we picked our ride or die team, one team each. Aunt Tammy picked her ride or die last week, which was Texas A&M. She thought they were going to win the championship. We laughed at it a little bit and said, that's not a good pick. Number one, not going to happen. They become the first team to not make it out of the region, ranked as a number 1 seed. So, Aunt Tammy, obviously, you got to pick a new ride or die here. Who's your new ride or die here in the World Series?
Yeah. Woo, this is a hard one for me. So, because I'm leaning toward Tennessee, but
She's gonna jinx you.
I know. That's
but
my pick.
Tech. I think I just need to stick with what my gut has, and I think Tennessee is going to
Kiss of death right there.
um yeah, we'll go with Tennessee since I have to do a new ride or die.
All right, Dad. Are you sticking with Tennessee after you hear that?
I picked them at the beginning. There's no
Yeah.
reason to change my pick now. I got to stick with them, even though Tammy's picked them so much.
I know, right?
I'll stick it with Tennessee. Yeah.
All right, so he's sticking with Tennessee.
Yeah.
My ride or die was Texas Tech. I think it was a little bit out on the edge when I initially picked it, my ride or die, but I actually really like this pick now. I think if Nebraska was still in it, I would have changed my pick to Nebraska, but I really like how Texas Tech is looking right now. I'm going with the Red Raiders. So I'm sticking with them as my ride or die.
They have the easier side of the bracket too, right?
Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to face Ole Miss for that first game, then depending on what happens, Oregon or UCLA.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easier side of the bracket.
So I think they have a pretty solid path to the championship game, but obviously injuries can happen. Something bad happens when it comes to just not having the command or something like that with Canterbury. So who knows? But I'm sticking with the Red Raiders.
All right.
All right. So because we got our new ride or dice, obviously it sounds like we know who one side of the bracket is winning. So let's get into final predictions of championship games. The way it works, we have Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma on one side of the bracket. You got to pick one of those teams going up against either Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, UCLA. So because you guys obviously have Tennessee, I'd figure you guys both have Tennessee winning that side of the bracket.
I do.
And Tammy?
You know what? Is there any? Can I change my pick?
Oh
my,
no.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, what is it?
You can
I
change
think I
Tennessee for
want.
3 other picks.
No, I think I want Texas Tech. I
No, no.
because I can't go against Nija. I don't know. That team I just yeah.
Okay.
You don't know confidence in Pickens?
I no because I have Texas Tech and UCLA in the final.
All right. You
Wait,
So, but
no,
no, they're on the same. They're on
that's
the
the
same
same
side.
side of the bracket.
I mean, yeah, no. That's never mind. No, Texas Tech. That's right. Texas Tech is my pick. And oh no, wait, I'm messing myself up here. Hold on.
No.
Time out.
You want to pick A&M?
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
You can leave it, Miles. I'm gonna stick with it.
You're gonna stick
Yeah,
with
Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Just leave it alone. That's it. That's fine.
All right, that makes me feel a lot better now.
I'm back on track.
So close to winning. So close.
No,
All
I'm
right.
back on track.
Tennessee 2026.
All right. So, Dad,
Tennessee.
you got Tennessee on the one side of the bracket. Who you got them facing though?
I've got Texas Tech on the other side.
All right. And Tammy, who you got?
UCLA.
Oh, okay. I got Oklahoma on the other side. I think until they lose, keep picking Oklahoma. I mean, they haven't lost yet. They're 4 straight wins in the World Series. I'm not gonna pick against them. So I got them going to the championship game. So I got them, and then I'm going with my ride or die. Texas Tech is making it to the championship game. So with that being said, who is your champion for the season, Dad?
Tennessee? Tennessee? Not changing
Tennessee.
it.
Tennessee over Texas Tech for the podcast, Dad. And Tammy, what you got?
You're going to change again, aren't you?
You know, oh my God. I'm gonna pick up someone totally different.
He wants to change it, huh?
She does.
I want Texas Tech.
So Texas Tech over UCLA?
No, this is the final, right?
Yeah, the final
Tech
championship
over-
game. Best
Yeah,
of 3.
see, but then I'm killing myself on my pick. So let's the fine. Yeah, let's go with Texas Tech. This is a hard one for me.
Okay, so Texas Tech versus Tennessee is your championship game.
Yes.
Okay. And your champion between Tennessee and Texas Tech is
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Yikes. But
And who was your ride or die?
ride or die.
I've changed. Let me see. Hold on.
You picked
Ride or
Tennessee
die.
for that.
She went Tennessee, changed it to Texas Tech, and then won in UCLA in the final. So she had to go back to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Now she has Tennessee versus Texas Tech in the final. So I had to cross out UCLA again. And now she has Texas Tech beating Tennessee, but Tennessee was the official pick for the ride or die. So now do I go back to her pick as being Texas Tech as a ride or die? Or are you still ride or die in Tennessee, but you think Texas Tech is going to win?
Yeah, I think that's what you got.
Okay. Okay.
She's hoping for Tennessee, but
He thinks Texas Tech is going to
is
win.
going to win it.
Okay.
I said that about Tennessee when we started this discussion. Shout out to the Vols. But I don't know. My gut is telling me Texas Tech. I know that sounds crazy. So let's just leave it like that.
All right.
All right. Okay. Texas Tech. And Tammy's got. Dad, you got Tennessee versus Texas Tech. You pick Tennessee from the very beginning, and you're sticking with it.
Yes.
For me, I got Texas Tech versus Oklahoma. 4-time national champions versus the newcomers. I'm going with the newcomers. I mean, I know I just said you got to keep on going till they lose, but I mean, I think it's just more fun not to pick the team that keeps on winning, right? So
Right.
I'm going with Texas Tech as my national champion. First time here. I can't remember. They mentioned something about the last team to win it their first time and the appearance, and it was like years ago. I'll write it down at the bottom for who did it last and what year, but it doesn't happen very often in sports. Your first appearance into a championship game and you win it all. I think Texas Tech has that team this year that they could win it all. Nigel Cannery is definitely going to be the reason why if they do it. So I think Texas Tech wins it all. I think we're going to see 3 games though. for sure. I don't see Oklahoma getting swept in the finals. I mean, I know this is not the same team, but they're not getting swept.
I don't think either team will be swept.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that is our final picks, our championship picks. 2 Texas Tech Red Raider fans here. We got 1 Lady Vol right next to me. So I think these are good picks. I really do. I think these are good picks. Do we have any hope that Ole Miss wins a game? Because I know we all didn't pick Ole Miss. Do we think Ole Miss gets a win in the losers bracket?
I do. I think they'll get a win.
Okay.
Wait, who's
So if Ole Miss were to lose,
No.
and your pick would be UCLA would
No.
be losing, so
they're
go up
going
against
to
Ole.
lose 2 in a row.
You think they'd lose 2 in a row?
Yep.
So Aunt Tammy would have Ole Miss versus Oregon, and you think they'd beat Oregon?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't. I think Oregon will. I think unfortunately Ole Miss is going to go and go 0-2. Unfortunately.
Okay.
But that's going to be a good storyline to watch. See if they get their first win of the postseason in the World Series. But last thing to talk about, little bonus pick. USA Softball Player of the Year finalists were announced. They actually were voted on before the postseason started. So we just don't know who it is. But the 3 finalists are Nebraska's Jordy Ball, Texas Tech Nigel Cannery, and Arkansas's Bree Ellis. Dad, of those 3 girls, who would be your Player of the Year?
I'd say Kennedy.
Okay.
Didn't she get it last year, Miles? I think she got it last year.
Sure.
I'll fact check it out. We'll figure it out.
You were on Jordy Ball this whole.
Don't spoil it, man.
That's who you're going with?
So you got Nigel.
I do.
And Terry, what you got?
Yeah, I wanted to go Nigel, but I think she got it last year at Stanford. And so maybe she could get it consecutive. But I think, honestly, I think Bree Ellis is going to get it as a senior. But that's my pick, Bree Ellis.
Okay. That's interesting because we all got different picks. I'm going Jordy Ball. I think although I think Cannery has done great for her team. She bats, she pitches, she's got phenomenal numbers. Jordy Ball did I had this written down somewhere in my Nebraska region. She has put up numbers there it is. She becomes the 5th player in history to hit 20 home runs and have 20 wins in the same season, which surprisingly, I thought Nigel was going to be able to be on that list, but she's not on the list. Plus her and her teammate Kuzak become the first duo in school history to hit 20 plus home runs in the same season. So I just think because of how Nebraska has done in the postseason, how they've done all season long, I think, and also if you look at those last 2 games, I know this was picked before the postseason started, but Jordy Ball really had to carry those teams, and they just did not get that last win.
She won all 3 games, and even the game she lost 1-0.
Yeah, so she was pitching phenomenally, and you can't rely on her to have outstanding games every single game. Someone else has to step up, and I think because of that, Nigel, she has a little bit more depth on her team that she doesn't have to be relied on as frequently compared to Jordy Ball. So I think Jordy Ball takes my pick. I think it's really close, but I got Jordy Ball winning Player of the Year. So I think anybody could win it though. Bree Ellis is, I think, one of the scariest hitters in the league, and those 2 girls are just phenomenal on both sides of the ball.
It shouldn't be about consecutive years. I don't know if it's been done before, but something tells me that because Nigel got it last year, she wouldn't. It should be based on stats and the player and all of that. So I think Bree Ellis as a senior going out, probably a good thing to do. She has the numbers, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, no.
So, but I think both Jordy and Naja are juniors or something. I think they have.
I think they'll be back.
But it'd be interesting to know if there's been consecutive winners for this award.
I'll put down in the comments below, or right underneath, if there's been consecutive winners, anything fact checked, I'll put it down there. So you audio listeners, sorry you guys don't get that, but check out the YouTube channel. We got more stuff than just talking about sports. We got game shows and tier lists and stuff like that you guys might enjoy. So check out the channel as well on YouTube. But any final comments from the World Series, from the whole season as a set? Anything you want to talk about? Do you want to rant about ASU? Regardless, do you have anything to talk about?
No, I wish ASU would have done better in the regionals. They just kind of didn't show up on the offensive side of it. But no, I'm just looking forward to the World Series. It's exciting, even more on the line now. Final 8 teams, the best in the country, so it'll be fun to watch.
And
Yeah.
Tammy?
Yeah, I just found that this round was harder for me. The first round, I was, the picks seemed pretty easy for me. On some, I was, oh, I'll go with the underdog, and obviously, so it didn't make it all the way through. But I always want to see that underdog. I mean, I kind of like that Ole Miss is here. You guys think they'll go 0-2? Be nice if they can get one, get a win. But anyway, no, I just think this one was harder for me. We've got some great teams in this round, and which is why it made it hard. It's like, oh gosh, who's going to be in the final? And but like Ross said, it's just going to be exciting. I watched so much in the first rounds, in the regionals. It was really awesome to watch. So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, for me, I love watching softball. We mentioned that in the last episode, and I think the postseason is even more fun. I mean, you have the storylines of Southeastern Louisiana upsetting LSU and forcing them to go home before the last 2 teams. They didn't even make it to the finals of their region. I think that storyline's fun. Texas A&M losing as a number 1 seed. I think that storyline is fun. You see matchups like Tennessee and Nebraska, which I will probably never stop talking about because I love that matchup. That 3-game set. I can have a 7-game set of that game, of those 2 teams. I think that was amazing. That's a great storyline as well. You got the player of the year. Those ladies are phenomenal in their own set. And to see one of them not in this College World Series or 2 of them not in the World Series is surprising, but it just shows you how good these teams are when it comes down to these final 8 teams. So I think the final 8 teams is going to put up some really good numbers viewership wise. I think there's going to be a lot of storylines to look at. Oklahoma, are they going to win 5 straight? Which not a lot of teams get 4 straight, let alone 5 straight championships in their respected league. So that's impressive there. Are you going to see a team like Ole Miss finally get their first win as an unranked team in their first World Series? Who knows? And then you got to look into, well, who's going to stick around for next year? And I think there's going to be a lot of storylines when it comes to now the NIL stuff. Are these power teams going to keep their power players, or are they going to move on like Stanford losing Nigel Kennedy? I mean, that's a huge storyline this offseason. Big shout out though to ASU. They're keeping Kenzie Brown for next year. She decided she's not going to be done. She's going to come back for her 1 more year of eligibility. So that's huge. But as you mentioned, ASU didn't make it out of the regionals. Very disappointing, but Kenzie Brown coming back does make me very excited. It's going to be the same team coming around next year for the most part. So overall, very excited for the World Series. You're very excited for the World Series. You look like you're very excited for the World Series. So
I am, yes.
You mentioned a lot of reasons to tune in. So hopefully people tune in and watch because it is fun and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah. So again, games will start on Thursday. I think Thursday around 3:00-ish or so. Check out ESPN listings. I think everything will be on ESPN2 or ESPNU, depending on the time. The loser games will be Friday. The winners games will be Saturday, and the championship game will be on Wednesday. So there will be softball from Thursday to at least Thursday. So a whole week straight of softball, potentially all the way up till Friday. So a lot of softball to watch. So hopefully you guys tune in. But I appreciate Aunt Tammy for showing up. Appreciate Podcast Dad for showing up. Appreciate you guys listening to this one. So make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, the bell icon so you guys are notified when episodes like this drop. Make sure you guys go check out all the stuff that's on the channel. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of wide variety of sports that we talk about. And we're trying to ramp it up a little bit more. I've been lacking. I'll get back on it this upcoming week. So appreciate you guys listening to this one. Have an awesome rest of your week. Watch some college softball because it's coming down to the wire. And we'll see you guys later. Hey, thank you, Aunt Tammy.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Yeah, it's really fun. I like it.
Yeah,
We were writing everything down on this end. It's like, oh wait, who's Benny?
My notes.
What's that? Those are your notes? Oh no, I don't have those small notes. I have like notebook.
Yeah, I thought I was doing this morning.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. I was like, that will help you at least with some time. I don't know how much more you put on there, but I was at least like,
oh, this was good.
Yeah, because this is exactly what I used. It's like,
yeah.
So I was like, if you want it, great. If not, no worries.
I
I thought I'd at least save you some time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this guy writes a post-it note of notes and calls it good. And he used a marker too. So he does, it's even less
Sharpie.
space on it.
Sharpie. I don't make mistakes. I do them pen. And I did it 15 minutes before we got on.
Yeah, as I was setting up, he goes, I gotta do my research.
I threw on YouTube for 5 minutes.
Yeah.